Captain on the bridge.
Alrighty, Captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be going over our favorite moments from the recent episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6, The Bounty. But before we do that, Captains, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, also subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, as we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains where we can share our love, our passion for things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Captains, we have been just on an emotional ride. This whole season so far up to this point has been great. Now, even though the latest episode, I didn't give it quite the high score, it still got a 9. Like, 9 is still pretty high, 9 out of 10. I had my nitpicks of it, but regardless of that, I still had my favorite moments. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. We're gonna go over my favorite moments. There's actually more than 3. So that just speaks to how much, again, I am enjoying each episode, even though, like I said, the problems I had, very, very small and minor, nitpicky, more or less because I just want things to be perfect, and I just, maybe there's a part of me, obviously, that doesn't want it to stand. But anyways, here we go. We'll go over the slides, of course, drop my 2 ECs, and then at the end, give our conclusions. So first up, we have to give it up to Vadic. I've been saying this since the trailer. Crazy Psycho Lady is creepy, and she does such a good job at what she's doing. It's like she's all over the place, and in this episode, same thing. From the beginning, she was pissed, irritated, and you can really see that. And she even took it out on her personal guards throughout the whole episode, really. We didn't get a lot of her, but when we did get her, she was Crazy Psycho Lady. And really, the actress is doing such a... And when she does that smile, it is so creepy, so creepy. But she is doing her thing and making us just... Oh, at least making me not scared, but just worried of what she's gonna do next, you know? But again, great moment she had here. And this moment here when she said hi at the very this is kind of from the end, but this is all the pictures that we got, or screenshots of the episode. It wasn't a lot, but again, it was very impactful, especially this scene. So this scene was when she was beating up Riker as someone else. She was in another form. And then she changes back to this form and says, hi. Like, and Riker's expression was literally mine. Like, oh my God, you are Crazy Psycho Lady. So yeah, we're gonna give it to her as our favorite, one of our favorite moments from the latest episode. Vadic, she did great here. And this moment here was definitely complimented by Riker's, oh God, she is really crazy. So I thought that was really cool. Next up, our next favorite moment from this was the Fleet Museum. Now, this was indeed a very, very cool scene, but this is where I had one of my issues with it. And again, very minor. There was a lot of ships here that I don't think should have been here. And if they were here, I don't know why they're here. We had an Akira. We had actually multiple Akiras from a Twitter feed I saw that had pointed out what ships were here. We had a Saber. Like, Picard said this is where all the legendary ships go. I don't get why then those ships are there. I hope we get background on why they're legendary ships that, to me, that don't seem, but we'll see. But still a very, very cool scene with all the ships that we saw here. You know, definitely one of the nostalgia nuggets. Obviously, we love Star Trek because of the ships. That's what got us into Star Trek. But you can see here this whole ring. And again, you see a Tallis there. I don't get it. And Akira's there, and Nebula was even there. Why? Because it saved the Enterprise D? I don't know. But hopefully we'll get some background information on why these ships particularly are quote-unquote legendary. So again, we have more shots here. I just took as much screenshots as I could of this. And then of course this was part, of course they were showing what ships were there, or some of the ships that of course we got the Defiant. We got a original Connie there. We got the TMP, that was pretty cool. This ship out of all the ships in the Legendary Museum got the most screen time. definitely got the most. And of course, there's Voyager, the Bounty, the name, of course, the HMS Bounty, the name of the episode itself, and we all know why, because they stole the cloaking device from it. And then here and this did officially canonize the NX-01 refit, so that's pretty cool. Again, that ship in Star Trek Online, and it's always nice to be able to have a ship and fly it in Star Trek Online, knowing that is a ship that we've seen on screen. And there's, of course, the D7 there. I think that was the Kronos 1. I believe someone mentioned it. So I've seen it here and there. And, of course, there's a Bird of Prey. There's, again, the Connie again. The Connie again. And then there at the bottom right there, you see a Saber. Of course, the Titan was also there trying to, quote-unquote, hide. There again, the Connie again. Bit of a Stargazer there. Connie again. And then, of course, the beginning shot there. So this was a pretty cool, again, scene when it comes to those who favor ships. This scene definitely was for us, but we didn't have the Enterprise, we didn't have an Excelsior, or at least I didn't think I saw an Excelsior there. Didn't see an Ambassador class, even though I know that the Enterprise C was destroyed. Have a representation of it. Have an Ambassador, decommission it, name it the C, and put it there. It literally stopped a Klingon war. That's the type of ship. Enterprise B, none of that. Sovereign, I don't know why those ships are not legendary compared to these ships, or why these ships would take precedent over the ships that I would personally put in there. So, yeah, which was, again, one of the reasons why this episode got a lower score. Again, very nitpick, but still. Next up, one of our favorite moments of this episode, of course, still keeping on that subject of ships, is ships. So we had a lot of that in this episode, and it was really cool. Of course, we have this, the Intrepid, the USS Intrepid, the Durasek class, I believe it's called. And of course, Bill Krause's design. Huge shout out to you, sir. Again, we're going to have him here back on the channel where we can do another interview with him and where we can talk ships, maybe for another 4 hours. But we had that. And then, of course, we had this scene here with the Excelsior warping, which is great. I'm glad they used Excelsior. I was wondering why show us Excelsior and then not use it again. And then I believe that ship there was the Echelon class and not the Stargazer, because from the top view, you would probably really notice if it was a Stargazer, because the bottom set of nacelles are actually a little bit wider. But we got that. I thought that was pretty cool. The Excelsior in that scene. And of course, this shot, the Titan. I love doing this in Star Trek Online. I mentioned that in the review there. Kind of having a sun, a star as a background, as a backdrop for our shelfies. Captains, if you don't know what that is, those are our ship selfies that we take in Star Trek Online. Of course, we got that aft, yes! And more shots, of course, of the Titan, that Daystrom. Of course, we had two Echelon class starships there, which are essentially Stargazers, just with cut off bottom nacelles. The Titan, of course, hiding behind the moon there. And then this scene was pretty cool. We had some pew-pews, very short and brief pew-pews here, when the two Echelon class ships were going against the Titan, were trying to capture her, and they totally missed. Point blank range, and they totally missed. I can understand them missing a smaller ship, just like how the Protostar was in one of the finale scenes of Prodigy, where it was just kind of darting in and out of all those ships trying to fire it. I get that, but this is not, the Titan is not a small ship by any means, and they literally missed. Two ships literally missed, but it is what it is. Plot armor, again, one of the issues that I also had against this episode, which knocked down the score, but still, a 9 is still pretty high in my books. More shots there of the Echelon class, of course, Titan, and it's aft, love that shot. More of those ships at the Daystrom station. Of course, this is when she's actually trying to activate the cloak. That was pretty cool. Then we go back to this, again, just the respect that they're showing the Titan, I love. And this scene was pretty cool when it was swooping in, coming out of cloak, swooping in, saving the away team. And then, again, the other problem here, you had an Echelon class literally right there. Could you have not just fired a phaser? Not that I want the ship to be destroyed, but you were right there, right? What's one shot to the nacelle to sort of disable them? No, couldn't even do that. But look how close it got. But it is what it is. And this is, of course, one of the shots that we got in the trailer that we saw the Titan first in. And of course, we have her at warp. So yeah, that was one of the favorite moments. Obviously, still loving how they're respecting the ships. They're giving its screen time and just really using it when you're going back and forth between scenes. Love it, love it, love it. And I just hope they keep doing that more. Now, we're now into our top 3. So those are we actually have 6 favorite moments here. So now our third favorite moment here, we'll give it up to Data. Of course. Now, again, one of the other issues I have with this episode is, yes, they all said it here that Data, or they saw Data die twice already. Picard did. And of course, they brought him back. We know how they brought him back, of course. They put his conscience into a vessel, into a synth body, just like they did Picard. But this time, it's not just Data, it's Lore, it's B4, it's Dr. Soong. But we get this throwback here of Data saying marvelous. Of course, one of the first times we see Data, or the first time we see Data. So that was a great scene that we saw him in. And of course, you know, one of the main characters, obviously, of TNG. But in this episode, he didn't get a lot. But of the moments he did, of course, he wasn't even doing anything here. He was just staring in space because he wasn't activated yet. But when he did get activated, that was when some of the feels came back. When he started recognizing, of course, here he recognized Geordi. Of course, he recognized Picard. And you just had these moments there with him. It was, again, not a lot, but just enough to give us some Data. But again, it gave me one of the issues I had with the episode where, yes, he's died twice and you had to bring him back. I get it, though, why you had to bring it back. That's fine. We thought we got closure with him, which was beautiful scene, by the way. Even though I didn't watch, that part or that season of Picard, that clip I did see. It was done beautifully. But then now you brought him back. And even he's confused, right, on why he's back. But again, we got some Data, and it's hard to really complain about that. And we'll just chalk it up to nostalgia nuggets. That's still carrying it. Again, top 3 favorite moment of the episode. Can't really complain. And of course, Data is our boy there. Next up, now this really took me by surprise and shocked me in a good way. And of course, my second favorite moment of this episode, or moments, is Geordi. Now, we saw this screen in the trailer, and I mentioned it when we did like a reaction to the trailer. Like, he looks pissed, and now we know why. The reason why he was pissed, of course, he was actually just protecting his family, and kind of mad at Picard to a certain degree for, quote unquote, and he even said in the episode, dragging his daughter into this whole mess that they're in. But eventually he, of course, came around. But Geordi really gave me a treat in this episode. It was from his acting chops. He really was versatile in this, and I loved it. From being angry, of course, a concerned father for his daughters, his family, even him to the point of saying no to helping Picard, but this initial scene, like, look at it, just him, and that, of course, that's his real life daughter, which is pretty cool. That was an awesome family moment. And having him with that stern look, and he was even saying, I'm not sure if I should hug you or whatever, but eventually you get the old Geordi face of this sort of really welcoming, this warm face. And of course we get that, but of course he does turn back into, hey, you and I need to talk now. And yeah, you can see it throughout the majority of his screen time. He was not having all the shenanigans that was happening. And he really, again, eventually said, I don't want to help you, which that kind of broke my heart. And then we get this moment, a little bit backstory on, of course, LaForge and his daughter, Sydney. And all he was doing was just thinking of her, even though they didn't get along. Now, this is a honorable mention, of course, because he was a part of it when Liam was dirting out. I can't help but laugh. Mr. Geordi, sir. It's funny how, I guess not funny, we know why he's the way towards Picard, right? Because of Wolf 359. But then in that elevator scene with him and Picard and Riker, when he started dropping all the all the things that they'd done in the past where he kind of held it against him. Geordi was a huge part of that, but he's an engineer, and you can tell the engineer love was here, and this is an honorable mention alongside with Geordi. Liam, you can't go by a review without saying something about Liam, and he had his moments here, even to the point where he says, yeah, it's been a weird week, but it was great. This moment between the two was great, and I really quite enjoyed it. And of course you had angry Geordi here, and again, that's what I'm saying, he was up and down with his acting here, and it was really great. I thought it, and this is him getting angry at Picard himself because he thought it was Picard doing it. So again, really good moments here. Of course he realizes it was actually his daughter, but again, we get these moments where Geordi is just the happy to see everyone, that warm, welcoming face that I, grown to love, grown to know growing up there on TNG. Of course, this is when he saw Worf and Data, and of course his moment there was his daughter, Sydney, and then when he was working with Data and Data recognized him, you get that warm face, from him. So we get this, and then all of a sudden we get to that, so it was a great, complete circle almost of emotion from him. I enjoyed it. I loved it. So that is my second favorite moment from this episode. And of course, that now brings me to my favorite part, which was Seven. Seven has had a good role, of course, in all of this, but it kind of felt like not just being pushed aside by any means, but just more taking a lesser screen time with everyone. But here, she was really given some time to shine. Not a lot, but it was very meaningful. So we get her here with Raffi, of course. I'm not sure still 100% of what's going on between these two, if there's still an item. I don't know. It's Raffi said in one of the past episodes there that she broke up with a girlfriend. So was that just her saying that to add on to the story of her cover, or did they actually break up? I don't know. So, but again, Seven's moment that came for me was here on the bridge, not necessarily with Jack, but when she was showing Jack a certain ship. And of course, that was when she did this. And you started hearing the music. I mean, that whole scene here was awesome with all those ships. Of course, you heard the music play of the themes, but when I heard this, it tugged the heartstrings, and I have to say this had to be one of my favorite moments. And you can tell that Seven was really, really feeling it here, and I felt it with her. It was a great moment, and just in her facial expressions, and it's like she was almost about to crack in terms of like cry, but not really. She's just speaking about her home, and she said that she was reborn there, and that brought a lot of feels with this moment. And I have to say, this moment here trumped everything else. Obviously it's my number one, even with Geordi, who had more screen time, but this had more meaning for me, and it's just how she actually presented it and acted it. So it was just so good. And you can tell, even like the tweets that she has on Twitter, Jerry Ryan, the actress, she said that was her favorite moment. And can we blame her? Can we really blame her? But she also and look at that, like, it was so genuine. That's kind of the thing. It was so genuine, warm. Again, just like a hug that she was giving us, saying, yeah, that's Voyager, that's my ship, and it was really good. This is an honorable mention here with Seven, of course. This is the moment that Liam was geeking out with Geordi, but she, again, had a little moment here with Picard going, really? So I thought that was cool. But overall, Seven, just the way she was, and you can tell too, like the way she was looking at the ship, just the way she reacted was just so wholesome. And again, I had to put this as my number one, because Seven, I've loved her, even though she's been, I don't want to say pushed to the back, but she's there, and her presence alone, obviously as a legacy character, is there. But obviously it's not the main plot, but this, I feel, gave her the moment to really just, one, shine, but also two, just really give props to Voyager, right? So I thought, again, my favorite moment here from this episode. So that brings us to coming on to episode 7. So Captain, this season so far, I've said already, has just been such a ride. Every episode, I find myself on the edge of the seat, my seat, almost like trembling, don't see what's going to happen next. And the pacing, I think, is still great. Again, the last episode, I had issues with it, but it's just minor issues. And again, this is more nitpicking, but it had probably the most favorite moments I had in any episode. And having Seven actually shine in that was awesome. So now, at this point of the season, we've seen everyone on screen. Not together yet, fully, but we've seen everyone on screen in the shot that you see here, this wallpaper that we use here. We now see, we're all waiting now for the moment that they all actually get together and then see what that feels. But there's only 4 episodes left. Man, it hurts. It hurts that there's only 4 episodes left, but that just speaks to how much we're enjoying this and how much we're loving it. And I hope something comes out of Picard, because, and not just something that comes out of Picard, but something that they keep up with the format and or the formula that they have done here with Picard season 3. And I've said it before in previous videos, I do hope there's a spin-off with the Titan, with Liam being, of course, the captain, maybe Seven being there, but I feel like Seven deserves her own thing. What that is, I don't know, but at least the Titan, to give it more screen time, I'd be great with that, you know, and because I think Liam definitely can carry his own show and probably even explore the character even more, especially that PTSD moment that he's having there that he had in the previous episodes there, that just really did wonders for the character development there and makes us understand why he's not really liking Picard. But there you go, Captains. That's my favorite moments from the previous episode. We're going to be going to episode 7. We're going to see where we land there. And of course, once we do the review of episode 7, we'll also do another round of our favorite moments there, because we've just been enjoying this. This has been great, and I just like to take this opportunity to say thank you, Captains, for checking out the videos that we do here for Star Trek Picard. And mostly I do Star Trek Online content here, but I've been really enjoying doing the Star Trek content, and we've had some recent subscribers here to the YouTube bridge, and I just like to welcome you, Captains, and thank you for subscribing here. So with that said, Captains, do me a favor one more time. Hit that like button, comment below, let us know your favorite moment of this recent episode, and also subscribe here to YouTube Bridge if you haven't done so yet. And of course, we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.